So a common question I receive from many of you is, where can you find my original music? And while the music I feature in my channel is all original, I haven't made any official releases as of yet, but that's about to change. So this video will be the first of a 5-part series where I preview each of the tracks off of my upcoming EP. I'll talk about what each song means to me. I'll also do a breakdown of some of the production techniques that I find unique to each track. And I'll also do a buildup of the guitar solo tones, showcasing the amps, pedals, and effects that I use and my thought process around how I achieve those particular tones. So let's dive in. So I first wanted to talk a little bit about the EP and what to expect. It'll be a 5-song instrumental record. It's quite atmospheric, very ethereal, with a lot of emotive lead guitar playing. I find it has quite a hypnotic and relaxing character to it, and I hope you can find some of those qualities in it as well. I use a lot of cool gear and different guitars, and I'll highlight some of my favorite aspects of that in the 5-part series. And so without further ado, let's preview the first track, titled Impetus. When I hear this song, it gives me this feeling in this sense that something has just happened and something's about to go down. First person I showed this song to is my brother, and it really inspired and energized him. As he said, it made him want to go on an adventure, and it felt very cinematic, like a soundtrack. All right, so the first thing that I want to talk about that really stands out to me in this track is the acoustic guitars. I'm using this parlor guitar. It's a fairly cheap instrument. I think I didn't pay more than $200 for this. It's a Recording King. And what's unique about it is I have it high strung. And what that means is basically taking a pack of 12-string guitar strings and just using the high strings. And so it gives you this pseudo 12-string guitar effect, but it also creates this sort of unique voice and unexpected sound that I thought really fit this track perfectly and gives it a bit of a medieval, exotic vibe, if you will. So let's check out what that sounds like. What's cool about that is that when you double track and pan hard left and right, it creates this wide 12-string guitar sound. So on one side, I've got the high strung. On the other side, I've got a traditional 6-string. And so to add some more magic to that, let's double it with the 6-string guitar. So I wanted to take a minute to talk about this particular guitar. This is a Yamaha FG180 50th anniversary model. I first learned about these guitars from Butch Walker. They were more budget-friendly guitars from the 60s and 70s. I think the backs and sides were laminate woods. They had a solid spruce top. But it's one of his sort of secret weapon recording instruments. They sound great under a microphone in a studio. And when Butch released Afraid of Ghosts, which is one of my top 5 favorite records of all time, he was using these quite a bit back then, so it got me interested. And so I acquired one. It's a killer guitar. The 50th anniversary models are all solid wood construction, and I use it exclusively in the studio. It does sound great under a mic, and it actually has the same strings on it as from when I originally recorded this track over 4 years ago. All right, so up next I want to talk about the lead tone from the intro. It's a very bell-like tone. It's not quite clean, it's not quite dirty, but it has plenty of sustain. There's a little bit of a secret that I used to get a tone like that I want to show you. So I used an S-type guitar to record this part originally. I used my exotic XSC2 HSS style guitar. I don't have that with me right now, so I'm going to be using a substitute. I'm going to be using the Paul Reed Smith Silver Sky SE. I'm going to be using the neck pickup. And I should say the guitar is tuned down to E flat, and I tuned all the guitars down to E flat for this record. And I found that it just had a certain vibe and character that worked really well. Being down a half step really helped with a lot of those David Gilmour inspired bends that I like to use. For amplifiers, I'm using two Blackface style amps in stereo. I'm using a Blankenship Twinplex and a 2-Rock Bloomfield drive. I have the amp set clean, so let's check out what that sounds like first before we kick on any pedals or delay. So next I'm going to add some light overdrive using a Vemoram Janray. Let's check out what that sounds like. That's a very cool tone. I probably could have used that tone and been very happy with it. However, this is where my little secret kicks in. I'm actually adding a fuzz pedal to this tone. I'm using a Berkow's Effects Third Stone Fuzz here. And when I turn that on, you're going to hear that there's way too much gain, way more than I used in the track. The secret is to roll back the volume on the guitar when using a fuzz. And that starts to get into that really bell-like quality where it's a clean tone, but it has a lot more sustain than an ordinary clean tone. So let's check that out. So way too much gain. So let's back that gain down using the volume control on the guitar. I'm going to roll that back to about 8. I'm going to roll it up to about 8.5. Sounds good to me. So up next, I'm going to add some delay. I'm using two different delays. I'm using a mono delay and a stereo delay. For the mono delay, I'm using a Korg SDD 3000 in pedal format. And I'm running a long mono delay. I have it tap tempo to the track. It's around 1,000 milliseconds. And I also have it filtered, meaning I've rolled off the low end and the high end so that the delay takes up less space in the mix. So let's check that out. No delay. Delay. And so for a stereo delay, I originally recorded this track with a Boss DD500 with a ping pong setting using the Roland SDE 3000 simulation. However, that pedal is now in my live rig, so I'm going to be using a substitute. I'm using the Keeley Halo, which is serving that purpose for me now in my studio. So I have an expression pedal hooked up to the Keeley, and I'll start to add a bunch of delay until it's too much and then back it down a little bit till it's just right. So too much, back it off. Still a little too much, back it off a little more. Sounds good to me there. All right, so now that all the pedals and effects are on, I'm going to play the licks from the intro to hear what it sounds like all together. There you have it. So now that that tone is dialed in, I'm going to play the lead part over the acoustic tracks to hear what the tone sounds like in the context of a mix. So I'm really curious to know what you think of the track so far. If you like what you're hearing, I'm also uploading the track in its entirety alongside this video for your listening pleasure. I'll drop a link above and below. And if you have any questions on the production techniques or tones in this video, hit me up in the comments and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. What to expect next? I'll be releasing 4 more videos like this. I'll be breaking down the production techniques, tones, and gear used in each of the songs off of my upcoming EP. And at the end of the series, I'll release the entire EP in one video where you can listen to all 5 songs sequenced continuously. So thanks a ton for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please consider liking, commenting, or subscribing. That would really help get it out to others that may enjoy it as well. In the meantime, take care and I'll see you in the next video.